looking at her. So my name is Deanna Finch. I'm a career services advisor at Colorado Technical University, and I'm also a certified professional resume writer. I really liked planning for college. I thought it was super fun. In fact, by my junior year, I had every single semester planned out at like what I wanted to do in college. And every time they changed the course catalog, I changed my guide. And I thought, oh, this would be really fun. Maybe I would like to be an academic advisor. So at 17, I thought, so what do I need to be an academic advisor? I probably need a bachelor's, it's kind of counseling. I probably need a bachelor's in psychology. But then I also had my first job at a grocery store, which was a great job, but the managers there were horrible. They were like making me cry in front of customers, like really, really kind of bad people. And let me tell you, it is exceptionally rewarding to get an incredible career and to come back to those places and those guys are still there and you're moving forward with your life and they're still there. It feels really good. So I got a bachelor's in business and a bachelor's in psychology because I thought that I needed my bachelor's in psychology to be an academic advisor. Do you think I needed my bachelor's in psychology? Nope. So I made a decision at 17 that wasn't very well researched. I have a degree that I didn't necessarily need. I've used, because then so I have my bachelor's in business, I have my bachelor's in psychology, and if you kind of mush them together, you get human resources. So I got into human resources and I loved it. And a good chunk of what I've done in my professional career is recruiting. So I'm the one that's going to hire you for this job.
You want to shut the door?
I don't know. I don't want people to not find us.
Yeah, that's true.
They're super motivated. They'll find us. So when I moved out to Colorado, I had staffing agencies, which I'm a huge fan of staffing agencies. You could probably do a little research on them. There's a number. In fact, I applied for 17 in 2 days when I moved out here. And I got placed within 48 hours, which is ideal. Hardly had to look for a job. And it was for career counseling at Colorado Technical University, which I thought was great because that combines what I've done. Do you want to learn how to write a resume? Come on in. I don't know if you're supposed to be here, but we'd love to have you. So I combined what I did, which was hiring, to academic advising in a college setting. And now, ultimately, I'm actually doing my dream job. I just didn't know it at 17 that this was going to be my dream job. So some of the advice that I'm going to be giving you today is straight up the advice that I give my students at CTU. Which, the average age of my student at CTU is about 35 to 45. But you guys can rock that information as well. And the content is still the same on your very first resume not the content, but what's guiding the content is going to be the same now than it is going to be in 30 years from now. So I have a few things for you to give out today. I do have a high school resume writing packet, which would be really fun to go through. We're probably not going to have time to get into it today. And to be honest, it's probably not going to give you the tools to write a really exceptional resume. Because normally, nothing like this does. Nor does a template. Your resume needs to be unique. It's you on paper. And it's the first product that an employer gets to see of you. So you want it to be awesome, and not necessarily something that you just filled in the blanks. However, this is a really good place to start when you're exploring the things that you're enjoying, what kind of things you might want to pursue, the skills that you bring to the table. So if you can help me pass these out.
I sure will. You want me?
Well, I'll have you pass something else up here.
I'll do
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'll keep it, please. Okay. So I met with a student on Thursday, and she got out of the military. She has actually some pretty exceptional military experience. This is not her resume, thankfully, but she is interested in, even in her 30s, which, just in a few years, you might be interested in these same opportunities. She's interested in an internship at Lockheed Martin. Does anyone know that company? You do? Are you interested in maybe working for them someday?
Hopefully.
Yeah. If I have time, I might show you some of the social media stuff that I showed earlier today, because it's some pretty powerful tools in there. Lockheed Martin is an incredible government contractor. They're big into defense. When you work for those type of employers, usually their internship opportunities are paid, and they're very competitive. I got a wonderful internship through Walgreens distribution, and this was still years ago. I got paid $15 an hour, and I got a housing stipend. It was awesome. And I got college credit on top of it. But it's super competitive. And ironically, it was in Woodland, California. I was from Chico, so I was like from 2 hours north. So I went down and I interviewed, which usually it's kind of strange actually. They really start looking for their summer interns in autumn. So like literally like 3/4 of the year in advance. So I went down and interviewed, and there was actually a gal from Woodland, California, that they sent her down to Southern California. They brought me on in Woodland, California. And it was an incredible internship opportunity. And it was fantastic. But if you are looking for those type of opportunities, or how many of you guys have been looking for a job? And have you found it to be challenging? Because you're not 18. Very much so. I mean, it was even difficult for me to find a job when I was 18, or less than 18, because they have to deal with child labor laws, like technically, legally, you're not supposed to be working past like 9 o'clock. There's all these things that kind of make it complicated to employ someone that's not 18. Is it possible? Do any of you guys have a job that you're getting paid for? So you do. So it is possible to get a job when you're not 18. But you need to bring it. I actually have a student, two students that I've talked to this week, that they have been applying for jobs. Again, they're in their 30s, and they haven't been using a resume to apply for jobs. I know, which is really kind of perplexing, because you can fill out the application information without submitting a resume, but there's always the option to upload your resume, right? And so what does it mean when she fills out the application and she uploads her resume, but you fill out your application and you don't upload a resume? It shows, that she wants it more. She's willing to invest more of herself into this process. So I don't know how these 35-year-olds are applying for jobs without resumes, but I'm like, this is unacceptable. We need to meet as soon as possible. So this gal that's applying for this, wanting to apply for this really competitive position with Lockheed Martin, this is a Microsoft Office template. It's called the Classic template. It's loaded into your Microsoft Word 2007 and 2010. A lot of people, when they're thinking, okay, I need to build a resume, you go to Microsoft Word and you start with the template. And it looks exactly like this. It even loads in the communication and leadership stuff, like at this point, as if you have anything valuable to put in those spaces. I mean, even when you're in your 40s, you typically are not going to be focusing on these type of things. So how many people do you think, especially at this Lockheed position, when I'm looking at this template, it's like this, it usually has color up here, it's colors down the side. How many of these resumes do you think the recruiter's going to see that looks exactly like this?
Everyone.
Probably a lot. And I have to be brutally honest with my students. I'm like, okay, you're using a template, and I've literally seen this template 3 times this week. What is that, if you are the recruiter, because you can always put yourself in the recruiter's shoes, how does that make you feel when this is the resume I give you?
You don't want the job.
I don't really care about this job that much, I don't know, maybe my mom's making me apply because she wants me to get out of the house. I'm not really that interested in that. So I helped my 17-year-old sister look for a job. She was going to a job fair. They actually opened up the biggest outlet malls in Northern California. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place, but that's what she also wanted to do too. So she was, there's some really, really nice, and you guys have nice name brands in the outlet malls in Castle Rock too. I mean, she's really interested in fashion, so this was like ideal for her. She's 17. And she's competing against thousands of people at this job fair. And one of the obstacles, not only are you bumping into the obstacle of laws, and that it's just kind of difficult to work with someone that's not 18. The other thing that's a real bummer for you in this economy, and you probably already realize this, is that you're competing against 20-year-olds, you're competing against 30-year-olds, sometimes 40-year-olds, sometimes 50-year-olds, even when you're going and you want to apply for JCPenney's. It's challenging. It's really challenging. So you need to bring your A game. So I'm going to show you the resume that I literally, and it's the same content. But it's literally the resume that I helped build with my sister at 17. So you'll see the content is the same. There's both volunteering at Mothers Against Drug Driving. There's volunteering at Special Olympics. She's got her high school GED. Because she actually had another obstacle. She didn't graduate high school. She decided she was going to drop out of high school and pursue her GED. So she really needed to showcase herself. So which resume do you like better? I think it's pretty obvious. And do you think that you're capable of doing something like this? Of course you are. Especially you guys are savages on computers. This would take you 15 minutes to get this on here. QR code on the bottom, it actually takes, for this one, because I didn't want to give away my sister's identity, if you want to add me on LinkedIn, this QR code will take you to my LinkedIn page. And when it was actually her resume, it took them to her LinkedIn page. At 17, she had a LinkedIn page. Do you guys know what LinkedIn is? I don't even know if that thing's working.
It's Facebook for work?
Yeah, it really is. It is, but it's
So more
not.
professional.
Yeah, it is, but it's not. You can load in a lot of this content. You can start loading in your skills. People can actually start endorsing it. But it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. I talked about it in one of the earlier sessions. And if I can, while you guys are doing your action planning in a few minutes, I'll actually try to see if I can get the computer to work, because I'd like to show you it, and I'd like to show you a contact at Lockheed Martin through LinkedIn that everyone can access. But it's one thing that how many 17-year-olds, how many 16-year-olds, how many 15-year-olds do you think have a LinkedIn page? In high school, the LinkedIn has started to target high school students. They want you to start building your professional persona. And so QR code, you're familiar with these, scan them with your phone, right? You can Google free QR code, but this website's qrstuff.com. You put in any website you want, and it'll spit out a QR code. How many people listen to Pandora for the Vistaprint commercial? A couple people? So you can go to Office Depot and you can get business card, print out, like things where you could print it on your desktop at home and, separate them out. Or Vistaprint, you can design business cards and they'll even send them to you for free. Of course, there's advertising of Vistaprint on the back. But she went to this job fair with this resume, with a business card. It was a little tongue-in-cheek. It said her name, and then as the title, because usually there's a title, right, on the business card, it said, "Your next retail sales associate." And it had her contact information, it had a QR code that brought people to her LinkedIn page. How many people in general, let alone high school students, were at that job fair with this resume with business cards? So what is that, where does that put you when you bring this and you have business cards? I mean, it elevates you to an entirely new level. I mean, the 20 and 30-year-olds aren't even utilizing that. I mean, take advantage of it. And then there's things that you can do even more savvy. I with my husband, he works at USAA. Is anyone familiar with USAA? Your parents in the military, maybe you've had some insurance, some banking with them. They offer exceptional benefits, which is something you should look at when you're looking at a job, not maybe necessarily now. However, continuing the story really, my sister walked away with 4 job offers at 17. And they were for cool companies like Michael Kors. Ultimately, she ended up working for the Gap. And even, she was very close to full-time. Even at like 17, she was really good. They wanted to make her full-time. At 17, if you're a full-time employee and you work for Gap, you can apply for college reimbursement. Yeah. So even when you're young, you can look into the benefits and cash in on that. So I really wanted my husband to work at USA. They have on-site childcare, they have an on-site cafeteria, he gets so much vacation time. You know, they treat their employees like gold. And what they do, if you've heard their commercials, is that they support military. That's what they do. So in his profile statement up here, we wrote, passionate about serving those that serve our country. Boom! How many people are putting that kind of stuff in their resume? No one. No one. So I was also talking to a student, you know, he's in his 20s, he's just looking for a job, and he goes, you know, I'd really like to work at GameStop. I like gaming, and, you know, it would be a nice job, and I get some mad discounts. I said, great. So like in this type of section, you could even have a subsection like customer service capabilities. Under that, you could literally have a section called gaming capabilities, and you could list off bosses that you've killed in games. Is it ridiculous? Yes, except you're applying for GameStop. You don't think that the GameStop manager would think that's incredible? Of course. So anything that you can do that's a little extra, it makes a world of difference. People aren't taking these extra steps. They're not. They're giving you those pink resumes. The world is full of those pink resumes, which is great for you because it's easy to compete against those pink resumes when you bring out something like this. It's pretty fantastic. You know, so this section up here, your skills and your kind of capability section, we took this straight out of, we actually looked at all of the retailers that were gonna be at that career fair. We read their job descriptions, we opened up an Excel spreadsheet, and every time we saw a word, a phrase, a skill repeated from one job description to the next, we started tallying it. And then we sorted it by how often that phrase was used, and then we had a really, really good idea of what every company at that job fair, what skills they were looking for, and that is exactly what we put here. So you're telling them, and if you're applying for a specific position, you have the job description. They've taken the time to write out on their job description what they're looking for. So in turn, you need to take the time to write out, I can do those things. This is what you want, this is what I can offer. It's that easy. And this little, the capability section, which you'll probably need to utilize if you haven't had your first job, this is where you take their job description, you put it in your own words, and you say, I have the knowledge of these things. I have the desire to learn. I have the ability to do these things. I'm acquainted with these things. I can do these things. Despite the fact that I haven't done them before, I can do it. And I care enough that I've read your job description, and I'm telling you I can deliver. It really sets you apart, because truly, how many people do you think customize their resume to a position? Like never, especially not if they're going for a position at Lowe's or Home Depot or like some of these entry-level positions. And the key to this is that even if you have this beautiful, beautiful resume, it almost doesn't matter if someone doesn't see it. So one of these places, what are some of the places you've been applying for? You said some of you guys have been looking for jobs. Where have you looked for a job?
Fargo's Pizza.
So like Fargo's Pizza, you apply online. And then you go in with your yellow resume. It doesn't have to be yellow, that would be weird. Probably white. And you say, I want to talk to the store manager, and give them this and say, I've already applied online, because that's how they're going to try to shoot you down. I've already applied online. However, I'm really interested in this position, and I freaking love your pizza. Probably wouldn't say freaking, a little inappropriate. But you know, that's the attitude that you want to bring in. I am really interested in this position. I'm interested in this job, but I'm also interested in your company and the product and the service that you offer. You know, I would be a good asset to this team. And you can't see that simply on an application. You can take the initiative and actually go in and say, and then if they don't accept it, you could say, let me leave my card. Has anyone ever, ever, ever rejected my business card? No. Culturally, people accept cards. You take cards. So like never once has someone said, oh, and I don't need your card. And I mean, what 16-year-old whips out like, hey, well, here's my card, so you could look me up in the applicant tracking system, because I'm really interested in this job. It's a game changer. It is a game changer. And some of this advice, you can see that when you're applying for that internship, at whatever company, and you have the job description, this advice, it still rings true. The first thing you need to do with your resume, you need to tell them definitively, black and white, I can do your job. The second thing you need to tell them is that I can do it well. So we tried to do that here. So she's saying she worked with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and she's saying, I've interfaced with thousands of people. Over the years, I have helped raise thousands of dollars. So you'll get content on there like that. The third thing you need to do with your resume is that you need to show them that you care. Some of that is by integrating things from their job description, some mission statement, and some of it is the fact that if you give me this, you don't care. If you give me this, you care. Those are the three things that you always need to capture in your resume, now, tomorrow, and 20 years from now. So let's see what we're doing on time. I talk always too much. Hopefully we have a little time for action planning. They'll kill me if you don't.
About 23 after, is that
I think that's perfect.
I have 28 after.
28 after? Oh, my watch.
Well, we even have more time for some action planning, so I think that we're perfect on time. So what do you think about the two resumes that you see in front of you? What kind of questions do you have about resumes? In a second, we're going to break out into smaller groups. It'll be really intimate since there's not too many of them. And talk about what we need to do to actually accomplish these things. So any questions about kind of some of the stuff that's on there? If you don't have any work experience, you're going to want to try to think of any time that you volunteered. Did you get that on there? If you don't have any volunteer experience, we're going to want to try to find it. Here's some websites for you. I can this one's on its own. So Volunteer Match, wonderful, wonderful site to find volunteer opportunities. DoSomething.org is really, really fun. That's actually geared just towards high schoolers. Idealist, Pikes Peak here in the area, Pikes Peak United Way. And then obviously you can get volunteer experience through your school. Because you guys, this is stuff that they're ambassadors for this event, and this is something that they're going to be able to put on their resume. That's really cool. And you found out about it through your school, right? So there's definitely volunteer opportunities that you can find out through your school, but you're definitely going to want to get volunteer experience on here if you don't already have it. Because if I'm rolling up and I'm 17 and I have cool volunteer experience, and she rolls up and she doesn't have any volunteer experience or anything that she's really bringing to the table, and she probably has a pink resume. I mean, who do you think is going to get the job? You definitely want to get some volunteer experience. And then when you're in college, you definitely want to get that internship experience. It is really hard to get a real job, real grown-up job after college if you have not gotten an internship. You can start going to your internship center of your school. You can go to the career center of your school and talk to them, even as a freshman. What kind of internships, are you seeing coming through the school? And then you can start researching those companies. You can even see how much those internships pay. You can be very strategic. And then you find out about their company, about their mission statement, about what they're looking for in internships. And what do? You put it on your pink resume. You can start getting super strategic, which I'm going to try to pull this up for you. You can do some people call it cyber stalking, but I like to call it social engineering. Has anyone looked up a potential boyfriend or girlfriend on the internet? It's ridiculous how much you can find out. Even when they're Facebook, their public Facebook, it's you can find out so much stuff. But on LinkedIn, you can find out a lot about people's professional lives. A lot of companies, they sponsor and they support certain nonprofits. So if you were, you're researching some people that work at Lockheed Martin, and you're finding that quite a few of them are volunteering with Homefront Cares, you might want to start volunteering for Homefront Cares. You try to rub some elbows with some people working at Lockheed Martin. You might find that it's never too early when you guys, I mean, it's never too early now if you wanted to start getting involved with professional associations. The Rocky Mountain FCA, Armed Forces Communications and Electronics Association. Anyone interested in like internet, technology kind of stuff? Maybe? They host the Cyberspace Symposium every year. So that's very cool. You could start going to those things. If you're interested in management, you could go to Project Management Institute meetings right now in high school. There's no reason saying that you can't. And could you imagine what that says about you? And you're like, yeah, I started in high school. I started going to PMI meetings. And it's ridiculous. And then you could put that on your pink resume. So this is some of the stuff that you're probably going to want to do. You're going to want to figure out what you want to do in the long term, but then also the short term. What kind of jobs do I want to apply for now? Research those careers and opportunities. Find those jobs. Write your resume. Make business cards. Create a LinkedIn profile, which I'm hoping I can pull up real quick. Maybe not, but you guys really need to Google it. Network. Talk to employers. That's where you can go to these, professional associations. Nail the interview, which is a different topic. Google commonly asked interview questions. Why didn't I do that? I was a junior in college. And I went for my first internship interview and I was completely unprepared. I could have just Googled commonly asked interview questions, but I didn't. So they asked me questions that I really should have been prepared for, and I totally wasn't. But I was genuine and I answered them to the best of my ability, and I still got that internship. But I also didn't research the company. When they said, well, why do you think you want to work at Walgreens? Because you're offering an internship. That's not what you want to tell them. So the second interview, which wasn't really an interview at all, I was like word vomiting. I know so much about Walgreens that like probably no one working in Walgreens knows. Like, do you know that the second user of satellite technology, second to the government? Walgreens. Cool company. Neat company. Very cool. But I should have known that on the first interview. Send a thank you card. That's another thing that sometimes people don't think to do. Add them on LinkedIn, send a thank you card. It makes a lasting impact. So any questions on the resume? Like any of the content that you find to be surprising? Are you kind of surprised that you can like break it out of a template and actually put cool skills and competencies on here? You can actually have a beautiful resume even if you don't have much to bring to the table. All you have to do is invest time into it. All right.
Time to get them wired up.
Yeah.
Fired up.
I know, it's been a long day. You guys are almost done and they're going to give away money on
Pizza.
laptops and stuff. It'll be great.
You guys
Carb overload, right? Those carbs are sitting in there.
So, we've got these to hand out, and then, how many people are there? 1, 2,
There's 14
So-
counting.
great.
Don't let
So,
this scare
break them
you.
out into 7. What do you mean she's not? She's not a mom, she's a high school student. You can't fool me.
I can't remember that far back.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take 7 on this side and 7 on that side. You guys decide which side you want. Pick up your stuff, let's get going.
I know, they really.
We don't have a lot of time. Come on, guys, please, move your chairs.
Are we like
Pick it up, we're on this side.
I
Enjoyment
suppose
this
so. I have
morning.
to go pretty soon, but
I guess I'll be on this side.
Okay, let's get going. Bring it on over. Okay.
did we want to bring it into one of the groups and film with the group still?
Oh, yeah.
All right, wait, don't plug it again.
Get into my guys, it's gonna be real quick. Okay, so you guys have a whole day. Okay,
I'll just like bring it in.
Nobody wants to go with the old guy? Really?
They're right there, yours out there.
You know? Okay, cool.
Why don't you move over a little closer?
I
we
get a
gotta turn
little
around.
loud. I get a little loud.
All right, camera's gonna be over there then. I got it.
Clear on that? Yes, no?
Simple task,
Yes,
right?
okay.
All we have to do,
Do we also
we already know
understand
our
that
goal,
we can't-
right?
If we can actually accomplish something. Okay.
We already know the goal. What's the goal?
Really wonderful.
Create a resume?
Yes.
Come on, don't make me do all the talking. I don't have that great a voice. So, you know what I do if I circle in and I
gonna start picking on somebody, and I don't wanna do
Why
that.
is it an
So,
action versus a goal?
the action step is to write a resume, or excuse me, the goal is to write a resume.
Right, it's not an accomplishment.
Okay,
Are we,
Okay, so-
which poster are we on?
okay, I'm over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I screwed up. She already beat me to it over there, but, okay.
That would be a goal, how do we do it around resume?
So before we start writing a resume, what do we need to do?
So give me your
Do we know our career choices, what we want to do?
Yeah, figure out what job you're.
Yeah, what job you're interested
But
in,
that's not gonna be
right?
tangible.
Career
today,
choice,
right? So I want you to
job.
be able to walk away.
Difference
with
between a
something
job and a
that's
career.
So give me a goal.
Job.
You want a job or you want a
Well, you
career?
want a career, but
What's the difference?
Nobody's ever written a resume. Now you.
career is,
Remember what
Did you write a
magistrate
resume?
said this
Yeah,
morning?
what did you do?
Gilbert?
yeah, a job
Yeah.
is like something like.
That's where people tell you what to
something.
do, yeah, you don't have a choice, whereas your choice is you choose a career. A job is something you do just to put food on the table, right?
Working in a
So,
store?
okay, choose a career? You all good with that?
So, do we want to be more specific?
There's no dissenter in the group, everybody's good with it, okay, choose a career, okay?
Exactly, okay?
I hope this is not bleeding to the wall or I'll end up owing money.
Goals are all about dates.
What's the next step? Okay, so you know what
Okay, so when do you wanna
career
do
you
that?
want, right? So, okay.
So can I?
You got a vision of what the resume looks like, okay? Right, the summary of skills and qualifications, okay? So, I'm throwing out hints here, okay?
Oh, are you saying
What would you
next?
want to research or do?
I was just about to say research.
Research, right? Research what? What's your first name? I like to go by first name.
John.
John? My name's Gary, okay? Don't do that sir thing. Okay, I know. I've not been knighted and I'm not that old yet, okay? So, and sir's my dad. God
Okay,
bless you.
just to say, I want a
Okay,
job.
so you want to research. Research what, John?
I guess what qualifications you need for the position you're looking at.
Yeah, qualifications, right, skills.
General background.
Okay, so,
Right, clothing is about retail. If you want a position versus job, that's just wordsmithing, who cares? But you have a date. Okay, dates are key. So the three things that you're gonna walk away with when you guys, and again, this is the thing that we're doing right here, okay?
so what's the difference
on your
between a skill and
goal,
qualification?
okay, the three things that you wanna make sure that you have is one, you wanna have an action item, so you wanna do
Like a
something.
skill would be like something that you can do.
Specific, right?
I don't know what
And then a
terminology
qualification would be
is
like,
verb, because
I guess,
action
like how that
tells
skill
us
helps
the
with the job.
position. That's
What
we're
about
circling.
personality traits?
Second thing is you wanna know where you wanna go.
Right,
You consider
right.
restaurant, you
If-
consider
it's-
technology.
You've all looked at job ads, right?
Where
Okay.
at customer service you can
And
send
besides
data
the skills, they
to be
list
specific.
the personal
Okay?
qualities or
The last
traits,
thing
right?
is you wanna know what
Dependable,
is it you
responsible,
wanna do.
hardworking, blah, 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 blah,
Everybody okay with
right?
that so far? Am I missing?
Okay.
Am I too fast?
So challenges, we've got a couple here. What's the challenges to choosing a
Everybody okay
career?
with that? Okay, it's the end of the day, so let's wrap. Tell me what you would want to do
Maybe like
to obtain this goal in the next
This
6
being
months.
Everybody already knows what they want to do, right?
Give me some items.
Yeah, and that doesn't change, right, the next day? Somebody comes in and says, you know, this or that.
well, you probably might change what you think.
Okay.
It might be too late because you might be like halfway through school and then you change your like major or
You
something.
can say job, or you can say company,
Yeah,
position.
what if you choose a career where you think you got a career goal?
Everybody knows how to do that, right?
What about
Everybody's not,
finances?
You can just literally Google it. So if you said, you can even go out and Google, okay?
Because we're talking about a career, how are you gonna pay for
job
the
positions
education?
out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the schools I was looking at wants almost 50 grand just for tuition. I can't afford that.
Here's the thing that's key. okay?
Loans, scholarships.
When do you want to
Funding, okay, so you got some answers, okay. So, we can put that over here, right?
If I don't draft my resume.
You guys cool with that? Okay, seek funding?
Thing about goals, what do you think, is that as your action items are, they build on top of each other.
first.
So I'm gonna want to do something.
Now, I think we're getting more into, or I am more into
And then I'm gonna.
developing a career than just writing a resume, but seek funding.
Okay? I'm gonna make sure I do
Um,
things in March,
so choosing a career, okay.
okay?
Researching the career skills.
Especially
Challenge might be like preparing yourself for like
And I'm gonna
certain
wrap up in June.
like classes that you have to take in college. So like maybe researching before you get
Does that make
to
sense?
like
Okay,
school.
So So,
You know,
with that in
I'm
mind,
guilty of
okay,
this.
let's
I'm
think
the
about
one
that.
that did it.
If I'm
I-
looking for
I got us all
$450
off track
job,
with
It's supposed to be out
with
resume
career
building.
choices, and we're writing a resume, so it's my fault.
I'm pretty close
Okay.
to submitting my resume, if not already,
So,
right?
okay,
But what I'm doing in March.
so let's think
is not
about what
submitting
goes on
resume,
that
maybe I'm still
resume.
doing some more
All right,
stuff.
we've got,
What I'm
you
doing in
need to,
February,
before you
maybe
write the
it's a little
resume,
bit
you
more
need to
broad.
choose
So
a
what-
career,
my
right?
whole reason for
Yeah.
pointing
What
this
do I
out
want to do in
Is
life?
that what I'm doing up here
The challenges, okay, with choosing what you want to do in life.
is much more bigger. Does that make sense when I say bigger? It means that I'm looking at.
Has anybody ever taken like a personality test or some type of career choice test? Ever heard of them before? John, what did you do, buddy? My spokesperson.
I was supposed to be, I believe, an electrical engineer.
And what type of test did you take? Was it military? Was it Myers-Briggs or?
It was through a program that our school uses.
If I'm at this
Okay, do you know what it was?
I don't remember.
I'm thinking it's the
Okay,
biggest in the world. What baby steps do I want to make in January?
Guidance counselor? Are they still, okay.
Why would I want
Through the
to
guidance
do
counselor, did you take a testing?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So she's inclined to that. She worked at Gap for 3 years.
So now I look like I've got three
Got benefits.
things in January that I want to do. I still want to put them by date.
So career
right?
choice
So
test.
maybe this is
Okay.
by the first week, right?
Um,
Where it's gone.
There's
This
books
is by
out
the
there
second
to help you make a
third
career choice.
week.
Guidance
And
counselors.
maybe this is my
Pikes
third
Peak
and
Workforce
fourth
Center
week.
administers what's called a
That makes
Myers-Briggs
So
assessment.
if I've drafted a resume, if I'm
What it
looking at
does
volunteer
is it
opportunities,
matches
the
your
very first
personality
one,
type
if
to
I'm
what
looking
type
at
of career
research
choice.
jobs
Okay,
for
because
a
some of
retail
us
store,
are
what would
more
I do
touchy-feely than others. More of us are more focused on scientific, what else am I looking at? Some of us are mechanical. Help me make a career choice.
How about talk to people?
I'm getting those looks
Wait,
again.
what was that?
So yeah, you might want to research taking a career choice test or exam.
So I want to talk
So
to
that you know if you're a
somebody
fit for it. Okay,
or
cool.
an employee, or maybe a relative, or a friend.
I do.
I could be wrong. I made one mistake
When do I wanna
already.
do it by?
So, and then research the skills and qualifications. So, what are the challenges or resources for that? Where would you go to find out what the skills are?
Keep it short, guys, okay?
The internet, yeah, the internet's got everything. We
The
didn't
reason I
have
raised
the
the
internet.
topic.
We got the internet, right?
Or maybe finding someone
Okay,
who like
so-
has a job there
Yeah.
already.
Through networking,
Internet, right?
okay? So you can even
Well,
change
I'm
it
gonna
to
put that
network.
over resources, right?
What else would I want to be looking at in February?
That's my students.
How about shopping in the store, talking to the manager, right? How about go to the store?
Start looking
Again,
at
we're not
job
talking
ads
about
for those type
applying, but we
of
could be
jobs for your
looking.
career choice, right?
Or to
Networking.
see, talk to the other people that are there.
Talk to other
See if
people.
they're happy. Maybe I'm
We mentioned already
researching
talking to,
go to stores.
Uh,
And then
the
I would
hiring
identify,
managers,
maybe
et
two or
cetera,
three stores I'm
et
interested
cetera.
in.
But would you be interested in talking to someone that's already been there and done it? If you're interested in social work,
So
wouldn't
you
you
pick two or
want
three
to talk to
companies
a
you
couple
wanna
of
go
social
after.
workers?
And you go visit.
See how they like it, what it pays,
You talk to them,
right?
and you talk to the
So-
employees, so how do you like working here? Oh, it's, I have to be here, the person who I work with, I don't like them. I don't like the manager, they make me work on orders,
So-
trying to get paid here is a pain. You'd be amazed how quickly people are willing to share with you what they like and dislike about their job. I don't mind the afternoon shift, I don't like the morning shift. Every time I have to close the store, I don't like it because I'm here 2 hours early because nobody likes to work with me. I don't like working with this other person because she's not nice. She makes me do the work. I don't like sweeping. I can't tell you how many people have thrown up in the, you know what I'm saying? You would be amazed. But here's the other
Okay.
thing's gonna return. Somebody comes into the store you're working with, and they're
So-
gonna ask you the same question when you're gonna go in.
You know what you want to do. You
Okay?
chose a
You're
career.
gonna spew your
You're pretty
negativity.
darn sure of it. Okay, you've researched all the skills and qualifications. You've talked to people about it.
Or you're gonna give them a positive
You
response.
went on the internet, taken a career choice test.
You go to
possibly.
another company, you say, hey, how do you
Um,
like working here? And you say, I love shopping here. How do you guys like working here? Oh my gosh, I love it.
I really haven't
Which
talked
job you
about
don't
the
wanna go for?
challenges that
You're
you're
gonna
facing.
check the store, I can't stand the people, I might have to work with that person off my list, so now I'm down to.
We've got
two.
funding.
Yeah. So you're out visiting
Certainly.
them, okay? You're out looking to see.
searching some type of funding, and that could be also an action step, right? Seeking funding sources. We're talking about a career now, I keep getting off of career choices rather than resume writing. Right.
Like she's
When
saying with,
you guys write out action items, it's not about a choice, it's about
finding,
going back and
volunteer
seeing such and such company.
work.
It's
You don't
very
have any kind of
detailed.
Yeah, to put on your
Here's the reason
resume.
why I want to share that with
Yeah,
you.
seeking
When you have
avenues to
homework,
gain
okay, a
experience.
reason school, correct? If your
That
teacher
could be
tells
an
you
app.
on Friday
Yep.
that you've got homework to do, and I just want you to do it. But it doesn't tell you to do on Monday, doesn't tell you to do on Wednesday, it doesn't give you the specifics, are you gonna know what to do? Are you gonna know when to turn it in? More importantly, are you gonna do it? Exactly. It's the same thing.
My
when you're
handwriting
writing
is
your goals
atrocious.
and
I'm
you're writing your
a
action.
volunteer,
If you're not
internship.
specific and you don't give a date, why would you wanna do it? There's no accountability. There's nothing that says it's due on Monday. or it's due on
Professional
Friday, or it's due a
organizations.
month from now.
Possibly.
So I'm not gonna vest the time because there's too many more
Anybody here
important
interested in
things
being a school
that come
teacher,
up in everyday life
social work,
than this.
maybe some outside
However,
professional
let me be real honest
organizations you
with
can belong to?
There's nothing more
in high school?
important
No?
in your everyday life,
No.
let's give
Finding a
exceptions.
nurse.
Yeah,
Being the celebrity
yeah,
you want to be.
yeah. I was kind of regretting
Okay.
bringing that one out there too
So
myself.
let's do this. Everybody clear on what a goal is, right? Everybody understand how to break goal, action items down?
School do field
Everybody
trips
understand that we're working towards something?
to
Okay?
certain organizations or
5 minutes
companies or
to see if you
businesses, if you're
So
interested.
on the top here, what they want to do is have you guys actually walk away with something.
Or to
okay?
college,
So on the
colleges,
top
right?
here,
Field trips to
you've got your
colleges.
goal and your program
Mhm.
objective. Focus on the goal.
What if you were
Again,
interested
we
in,
want it to be action-oriented,
I don't know,
specific about what it is, and give it a date.
possibility for doing a field trip or
Okay,
visiting or?
so think of that
anything like
first.
No?
What is it you want to do? Get specific
No?
for yourself.
I don't know if
Okay.
that would really help.
I'm gonna give you guys a minute and a half to get specific for yourself. What goal do you
It might
have?
with like
I
someone
don't
else
give
who's
it to the
doing
next 2 months.
something.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Someone who's like doing something differently, like with like counseling or something like that. I feel like a field trip would be
A field trip,
beneficial.
okay.
You might say,
Or like
Okay.
somebody who's working
You
in
might
like
say
a certain
going out.
corporation, like going to a field trip to where they like want to work.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Do guidance counselors offer that yet? That you can take a field trip to a business or
I don't-
visiting with someone or shadowing?
I don't know. And I'm sure you probably could set something up like that, but
Yeah.
I've
Job
never-
shadowing?
I've never looked into it.
Okay. Find out if you can job shadow.
I don't think
For a
the
day.
schools really offer anything. It's something that you have to go about yourself.
You have to go about it yourself. Get permission yeah, to see if you could job shadow someone for a day.
Or maybe you could like go to this place where you like want to work and ask them
Mhm.
instead of going through
Sure.
school.
To take a visit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or a site visit. Okay, cool. Okay. So, how are we doing writing our resume? You've selected a career. You've ensured that that's what you want to do by talking to other people, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Shadowing, maybe, so you're certain that's what you want to do. You've researched the skills
You got a goal?
and the qualifications.
you got action items on
How do you know what your personal qualifications or characteristics are?
it. Okay. I'll take you.
Why you really want to do your personality type? Maybe you want to take a minute or two
Okay,
or a
everybody-
day
okay.
to write
Give
down
me
your
an example.
personality traits
Give me an example.
or what other
Someone
people
else.
say about you.
Or have someone else.
Specifics?
Right,
We're
right.
date-driven. Tell me yours.
What I suggest is when guys write their resumes is,
Get a
I
job.
tell them, if you can bring your compassion, your love,
So
your
then-
passion
Do you have a date?
on that resume, okay, and bring it forth,
Very
because
good. Give me another
Deanna
goal, guys.
was speaking about that. Okay, why do you want to do this? Okay, what interest, what drives you to it? Okay, and then put that on paper.
Good job.
So
What's your goal?
maybe start, I just finished taking a class on what's called your emotional, okay, quotient. How well you know your emotions, how well you know your personality. Okay, what would your friends and your parents or
Okay, be specific. Maybe
past
your homework.
employers say about you, right?
There you go.
Writing down what your personality traits are. What would other people say about you? So when it says dependable, responsible in your resume,
I mean,
Okay.
even having a
Change the
reference
flow.
letter,
I'm sorry?
Something
even
that says
having
that
a
you're gonna do
reference
it.
letter would help with that
So it
too.
says, I
Sure.
want to look until June.
Yeah, yeah. What other people would say.
An actual
So,
action. Because looking would be something we want to do in January, okay?
so somebody help me out with this. So then another action step for writing a resume is,
Very
what's
good.
my personality? Right?
Discover
What am I,
personality traits.
what characteristics, personal characteristics am I bringing to the table, right?
Excellent. So you're giving yourself a lot more time.
My personal qualities, right?
And then you'll be at that age. Perfect. So, what I want you to do now, guys, is think about it, because you've got that, so you can break yours over 12 months, okay? But there's still
And
some
then,
big things you want to do.
how we doing so
What I
far
also
for
want
action
you guys
steps?
do
You about
is
ready
you've
to
got a
start
lot of
writing a
June
resume?
dates. I want you to think of 3 large goals.
What is it?
or
Who
even
is
4 that you
responsible?
want to do in the
Hmm?
next 6 months.
So who is responsible?
Who is
Colin?
responsible for each one of those action steps? Typically, it's
When
gonna
we
be
talk about
you, right?
challenges, okay, so we did.
Unless you
example,
need help
we
from
broke it down
someone
by
else.
month. And I just broke it down by month because it makes
Uh,
it really simple. That's not to say that under draft
Let me give you
resume,
some
that I
examples,
couldn't
okay?
have
Choosing a
research in the
career,
resume,
who's responsible?
Right?
You.
And then
You,
by the time
and then
we
you
hit
could also
April,
put down guidance
I might wanna have
counselor,
a final
uh,
resume.
other
created
individuals that may be
for
doing that
submission.
career choice, right?
Right, because I want to be employed by June.
I guess the
It doesn't
challenge,
mean I submit
challenge
my
would
resume
be
in
finding
June.
individuals that do
Does that make
that,
sense?
seeking them
So
out.
one of the things that you guys have to realize is you must give yourself
Research
time.
the skills and qualifications. I
Time
would-
is on your
be
side,
you.
but it's not on your side if you decide to wait till June
Challenges would be
30th to submit a resume.
you
Then
know,
you can
doing
miss your
some
goal.
research to find out where to
So
go
what you want to do is back it
for
up.
the skills and
by 30,
qualifications.
60, or 90 days.
You
So
can
if I
Google,
submit my resume
actually.
And nobody
You
responds
could be
to
really
me,
good
then
at
I
this.
might
is
have a goal in May
Google,
that says
what is the
follow up.
job description for a
Go
social
down and
worker,
actually meet the
right?
person.
What is
Right?
the job
But that doesn't mean
description
that underneath
for
my draft my resume in January
school
this month,
teacher?
that I don't
Okay.
have a maybe 2 or 3 other
There's a
action
website
items.
out, there's a
Research
government
what a resume
website
looks
called
like,
the
sit down with an
Occupational
intern,
Network,
talk to a counselor.
um,
Does that make
which
sense? These
lists
goals,
all of
excuse
the,
me, action
all of
items
the
have little
skills
extra items. So you could have literally
for
10
any
action
type
items
of
in January.
particular
Okay?
employment out
What we
there.
want to do when we're writing the resume
So-
and submitting
But
it,
just
is we
knowing
wanna
the
make
skills is
sure
enough,
around
yeah.
that,
Yeah, you gotta know what the,
that you also
what the
follow
personal
up with it,
qualifications
right? So
are,
I'm drafting.
the
you, I wanna make
characteristics,
sure the final
what type
summary
of
that's ready for
personality it is.
submission. So, you know, when you're looking
that's
at
next.
volunteering, you wanna look at
Um,
what other resumes are out there.
Seek
LinkedIn might
funding.
be an area where you guys find out what are some social medias, like professional
For a
social
career.
medias.
Even though it's
Another
not really
opportunity you
related
wanna
to
do,
a
and I'll tell you
resume.
guys right now, you guys
Uh,
are very fluent
where'd
with
you go
social
for
media,
that?
but it will hurt.
Websites.
Scholarships.
Yep, scholarships,
Too
searching
much
the internet.
personal stuff out there
Again, your
and
counselors,
people
yep,
research it.
definitely, definitely.
Okay, you stick your negativity out there, you stick your baggage out there, and
Uh,
professional employees
Gaining
don't
experience, put on your resumes. A resume is not a one-time deal, okay? A resume is a living, breathing thing. It changes all the time, right?
They will.
Deanna said, okay, as you gain more experience, you can't have a one resume catches all, okay?
Okay, so let's take the action, so let's take and let's put
You've got
at
to
least 3 action items.
Massage that
That
resume
you
or
wanna do
tweak
just
it
this month.
to what they're
Okay,
looking
so think about what that
for.
looks
Read
like.
that job ad, look
Okay.
at it and say, okay,
So
these
write
are
down
the
some 3 action
qualifications
items
they're
so we can
looking
get
for,
started and
these
you'll
are the
find yourself
skills.
challenged
I've
this
got
month.
those.
Now remember,
What's
action
that in
items,
your
they have a
resume?
date.
Okay, cool.
So
So,
write one maybe the next 2 weeks.
gaining
3
experience,
weeks.
volunteering and interning. Again, talk to your guidance counselors. Might want to go to a workforce center. Pikes Peak Workforce Center has summer hire programs for teens. Are you aware of that? Yep. Mhm. Yeah.
Pikes Peak Workforce.
Workforce Center, Garden Gods, yeah. They have a summer hire for individuals.
Is that for like for
Mhm.
jobs or for
And
internships?
talking to family and friends and networking and saying, hey, I'm looking for summer work or whatever to get some type of experience.
That's something you want to start doing. You wanna
That's
start
where it
talking to family
starts.
and friends this month.
There's
You wanna let them know that you
78%
wanna
of
get
people that get
employed,
hired
get
are
them
hired through
and find
networking.
out who they know. So that's.
Okay, and then
because you're
sitting
putting
down
a
and doing
seed
my
in your
personal
head.
characteristics
Start
and
making
qualifications.
decisions.
One of my
You might be
personality
appointed to
traits,
the network in March,
right?
February.
Who's responsible for that?
What your goal,
You
I mean,
and maybe your
action
friends,
item.
your parents, talking to other people, getting feedback, right? Okay, cool. How we doing on
So there's no reason why you
challenges?
can't research this month, right? You're gonna have your goals, which will be fine, so you'll be legal and old enough. However, that doesn't mean you couldn't start researching volunteer.
Challenges is making up your mind
Drafting your resume and
what type
finding
of
out
career I
what you
want
need
to do,
online,
right?
Start looking
Okay.
for resumes out there, Googling resumes is
Finding
great.
people to like talk to,
ask Heidi
like
for
you
this
said,
month.
like
Okay.
finding people who
Yeah,
like
yep,
give
finding,
an internship.
finding people,
Viewing
yeah.
what resume
Finding the
looks
right
like.
people,
Maybe
connecting,
also going
connecting
onto
with the right
YouTube.
people, right?
That could
Yeah.
easily be an action.
You can
item.
find them, how do you connect
Research
them?
Yeah.
Resume
Okay.
writing on
So you'll probably
YouTube.
want to wrap things up.
I mean, use your
Okay.
social
As
media
much as
to
you
your
can on
advantage.
your paper.
Okay, just don't
Well,
go to
doing
look
good.
at some plain piece of paper, it doesn't do you any good, and it's not gonna encourage you. So there's a whole bunch out there that you can start researching.
Let me cover the resources real quick that we talked about, okay?
Talking to family, friends,
a career
networking about
choice test.
opportunities by Zoom, you
Okay.
bet.
Taking a career choice test
Over here?
or exam, getting some help,
5 minutes.
choosing a career, right?
So let's have at least
How
three.
you gonna write a resume if you
Okay.
don't know what you wanna do? Yeah, it's gotta be specific. Cool, okay. The internet.
See, you got yourself an action item, you got a test.
What about other people, professionals,
That would be-
resume writers,
doesn't matter how
professionals,
you know, that's a
individuals that
great
are
action item
qualified to
for the
write a
next
resume?
week.
Would you wanna
And
talk
you
to
gotta do it,
Deanna
right?
if she was
There you
available?
go.
Definitely, right?
And talk to them about how they like the job.
Say, hey,
talk to them about
will you
what
look
they
this
like
over
about
for me?
it.
Tell me,
Right,
tell
what
me
do
what
need
you
to
think
start?
about it.
What would a resume,
It's
what they
probably
want
your
to see in the
best
resume.
resource when you got a resume is have some
There you go.
professionals
So
look
then
it
how do
over
I
and put in,
expand it?
right? Talk to other professional resume writers, right?
Perfect.
And then
See, and is there anything that you can do?
individuals who have done
Right,
that
so not
type of
only
work
during the
before
summertime,
are
but what are you
employed
doing now?
doing it.
I don't care if it's babysitting, I don't care if it's working at the
Cool.
line.
You guys like your,
Doesn't matter. How'd you do?
like your goal?
Comfortable
Satisfied with
that?
it?
You okay? Maybe?
Ready to turn it in?
What are you gonna do?
Ready to win
Mine's pretty
something?
dull. Mine is dull.
Any
Quiet.
questions?
How are you feeling about it?
Both of them?
Yes, okay.
Yeah?
The white sheet gets turned in
To me.
to Deanna. The pink sheet you keep, and the yellow,
I think the yellow
Okay, so
they
here's the
keep,
last
and
thing I
the
wanna
pink
do,
goes
okay?
into the envelope,
it goes into an
which
envelope?
you
Okay.
are going
Okay, so
to put
here's
your
what
own
we're gonna
address
Yeah.
on.
I wasn't sure if the pink got mailed or they keep the pink or the last
I
one
think
gets
the
mailed,
pink
but.
gets mailed, so if you can't really read it, you might want to jot some notes on it.
Yeah, I should have said, yeah, make sure, right through.
What are some of the challenges?
And then
that
that
you're
yellow
gonna
evaluation
find
sheet, that's
meeting
something you
those
had in
three
your
items?
back. Is it as awesome as the yellow example I gave you? Yeah,
What
does
is
it have a
that?
QR code on it? You don't need that, but.
Oh,
Okay,
challenge
competition?
accepted.
What was yours?
Yours.
I never had one in the dark.
Amen on that one.
They're just getting stuff down on their papers.
What else?
You ready to write a resume?
Yes.
Are you ready to write a resume?
Yeah.
Cool, good.
I got
They
this
should have
one
come.
they call it